राष्ट्र आजाद हुआ, देश की आज़ादी के बाद एक लोकतंत्र की स्थापना हुई थी। आज समय आ गया है कि हम शिक्षा को भी डेमोक्रेटाइज करें।
The National Digital Library of India is truly built of the people, by the people and for the people. It is our knowledge legacy to future generations.
ఈ ఉద్యమాన్ని దేశ నలుమూలలా వ్యాపింపజేసి ప్రజలకు మంచి నాణ్యమైన చదువు అందించాలనే ఉద్దేశంతో నేషనల్ డిజిటల్ లైబ్రరీ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా ఏర్పడింది.
छोटे बच्चे हैं जो पूरी प्रिविलेज नहीं ले पाने सी बुक्स दी या जर्नल्स दी कुछ अच्छा मटेरियल जिस तो वांझे रह जाते सी उन्होंने बहुत अच्छे तरीके नाल मिल सकता है।
इंटरनेटर सहायत मोबाइल टेक्नोलॉजी और कंप्यूटर यूज करी भारतर सकलो शिक्षार्थीये सकलो ठाइर পৰা नेशनल डिजिटल लाइब्रेरी ऑफ इंडिया यूज কৰিব পাৰে।
शिक्षण पद्धति है, व्यवहारिक ज्ञान है, थीसिस है, डिसर्टेशंस है.
நாங்கள் இந்த தேசிய லைசென்ஸ் பயன்படுத்துவதனால இந்த நூலகத்தின் உள்ளடக்கத்தை எல்லோரும் இலவசமாக நாடி தழுவி பயன்படுத்தலாம்।
আমাদের ন্যাশনাল ডিজিটাল লাইব্রেরি এমন একটা প্ল্যাটফর্ম যা আমাদের সভ্যতা, সংস্কৃতি এবং শিক্ষার সম্পদকে বাঁচিয়ে রাখতে সাহায্য করে।
The true success of a library lies with its users. Hence, I invite all of India to make use of this platform.
I am National Digital Library of India.
I am in National Digital Library of India.
I am the National Digital Library of India.
मैं National Digital Library of India.
मैं National Digital Library of India.
నేను నేషనల్ డిజిటల్ లైబ్రరీ ఆఫ్ ఇండియా.
હું છું નેશનલ ડિજિટલ લાઇબ્રેરી ઓફ ઇન્ડિયા.
நான் இந்தியாவின் தேசிய நூலகம்.
मी निरुपमा बावडेकर नेशनल डिजिटल लाइब्रेरी ऑफ इंडिया आहे.
I am National Digital Library of India.
मैं नेशनल डिजिटल लाइब्रेरी ऑफ इंडिया.
আমি ন্যাশনাল ডিজিটাল লাইব্রেরি।
We are National Digital Library of India.
Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Vignesh. Am I audible now? Okay, so let us start. My name is Vignesh. I'm part of the National Digital Library of India team, and I look after the outreach of National Digital Library of India. So today's webinar is primarily meant for library professionals, and to my surprise, many faculty members have also joined this webinar from across the country. And I think so far we have like 150 people are willing to participate, and we have capacity of only 100. So all the 100 people have joined. So still I'm getting a lot of calls from people to join for this meeting, but unfortunately I'm not able to entertain the request due to technical reasons. So let us now get into the session directly. So National Digital Library of India, as many of you might know, it's part of the Government of India's Ministry of HRD's Human Resource Development's program. It's coming under the National Mission on Education through ICT. So this program was launched in 2016 as a pilot project to see whether so that the idea for this program came in when then there were a lot of government funded institutions who came up for increasing their library budget every now and then, and they were all procuring the same resources from the same publishers for their own libraries. And that's when the then HRD minister requested all the uh, like centrally funded institutions to come up with an idea wherein we can collate all these knowledge resources and then share it with all the educational institutions across the country. So that's when IIT Kharagpur was given this mandate to take forward this initiative of National Digital Library of India. So the objective behind National Digital Library of India is to collate all the educational resources which are open and non-copyrighted materials in a single platform, and basically it acts like an integrator of various knowledge resources into a single platform that can be given across all the educational institutions across the country. And today we have over 22,000 educational so may I request you to kindly not share. I request all of you not to share your screen. I have blocked all of you to not to share the screen. Then it will become a lot of issue. And if people are concerned about your privacy, kindly also turn off your video. Right? So kindly don't share your screen. Kindly don't, if possible, you can stop your video also. So I was telling you about, we have currently 22,000 partner institutions for NDLI, but we have closer to a few lakh partner institutions awaiting to join NDLI. So why digital library? So many of you are librarians, you know the purpose of digital library. So in the physical library, as I used to face some challenges. One is like when so for example, I will give you my own personal example. We used to I used to study at JNU. I did my MPhil PhD from JNU, and when a faculty prescribe a resource, we go to the central library and we look for the resource. In most likely, when the resource is from a foreign author, when the value is like in pounds or in dollars, the resource cost is in values in pounds or dollars. Most likely that book might be issued to a faculty member who is either from the same department or from some other department. And interestingly, many of the faculty members who get the books issued, they actually renew it for multiple times without any questions being asked. And they keep it for a few weeks, and then we ultimately go back to them and we ask for we go to the faculty and ask for the resources to give it to us so that we can photocopy it and give it back to them. So that happens only at the fake end of the like examination time. So that is when we go to the faculty members also. And the second situation is we go to the library, we look for the resource, and it will say that it is there in the class so and so section in so and so rack. We go to that section, except that one resource, rest of the resources might be there. So one brilliant student in the campus might have put it somewhere in the library which only he or she can identify. And the third situation is you go to the library, it might be there in the pack, it may be there in the rack, but except that one particular chapter, the rest of the book will be there. So these three challenges I faced in the library. And apart from this, when I visit libraries, what is happening in the last few years is the budget of the libraries have been drastically cut down. See, like I might have visited closer to 500 to 600 libraries in India, and majority of the institutions, except a very few centrally funded institutions, the budget for majority of the libraries have been drastically cut down. Say, for example, if it's a big institution, say like a deemed to be university, their budget is around 1 or 2 crore rupees, and that has been drastically come down to 20-25 lakh rupees. When the budget was in a normal medium-sized engineering institutions or in arts and science colleges, when the budget was around 20 lakh rupees, that has been drastically reduced to 2 lakh rupees or 3 lakh rupees. And similarly, if it's a small institution, when the budget is was around 2 lakh rupees, that has been cut down to 20,000 rupees or 30,000 rupees. So there is ultimate drastic reduction of budget, and also the manpower in the libraries have been drastically cut down. Say when the library, say a few years back, 5-6 years back, when the library had 10 members in the library, that has been reduced to 1 or 2 librarians in the library. So the manpower has also been drastically reduced. So given this, and whenever they want to they procure new books, but they don't have space to stock those books. When it comes to weeding out policy, most of the institution weeding out is also a challenge. So looking at all these challenges, so digital library and also the current situation of COVID-19 and the lockdown, in most of the places, the physical libraries have been closed. So this gives us furthermore reason for starting the digital libraries in our country. So today I'm going to talk about National Digital Library of India and the various resources that we have and how to access it, and also how to start NDLA club in your own institution. So that's what we are going to see today. So I'm going to share a slide. Can you all see the presentation? Okay, so I will start presentation. So today we have closer to 4.78 crore resources in 300 languages, and content contributors are about 251 content contributors and 55 lakh registered users. So yeah, let's see what is NDLI digital resources available. So this is the perspective of NDLI. So India, every month, as per 2011 census, every month 1 million, that is 10 lakh people are turning into 18 years. And that means there is a huge requirement of higher educational institutions in the country, which translates into 6 universities and 270 colleges to be set up every month to bridge the education divide in this country. Right. And to address this, India would require anywhere between 60,000 crore to 1 lakh crore every month to set up and operate these institutions. And apart from the setting up, the operational expenses of these institutions would be like much challenging. There are we have already seen many institutions are without students, and they are coming into a closure also. So that is also happening. So given this, so Government of India looked at having digital solutions, and some of the solutions the government came up with are the Swayam Prabha, NPTEL, National Digital Library of India. These are all ecosystem of online digital learning resources that has come as an alternative to the physical world. So NDLI was formally dedicated to the nation on 19 June 2018 by the then HRD minister. So what do we have at NDLI? So at NDLI, we primarily have metadata. So many of you and most of you know what is metadata. Metadata is nothing but data about data. In crude way, we can put it as it's basic information about a resource. So what are those basic information? It includes who is the author, what is the title of the book, who is the publisher, when was it published, what is the type of content that is about, abstract. So this is called the metadata. So we only ingest metadata into our database. So what is the use case? So how do we work? So the way we work is simple. We basically work with content contributors, and we help content contributors are any government or non-government funded institutions, educational, research and knowledge institutions, and publishers also. So what we do is we help them in harvesting through an IDR, institutional digital repository. We use DSpace for ideas, and we help them in creating metadata also. We guide them how to create metadata for the resources, digital resources, which are non-copyrighted resources. We primarily rely on the partner institutions to give us the non-copyrighted resources, and then we ingest the metadata into our platform. So we ingest only the metadata. The hard content remains with the host institution or the partner institution itself. We don't host any full text. We only host metadata, right? And we also provide a platform for our users to access the content. So we have developed an online mechanism through which the search and federated search engine has been deployed. So what type of content we have? So we have three types of content. One is born digital object, which is, for example, you have typed your thesis on your computer, and then you have converted that into a PDF and written it in a pen drive or a CD and given it to your college or university for during the time of submission. So that is called born digital content, which is created in digital environment and given it in the digital format. So that is called born digital content. And then the second content type we have is digital surrogate of a physical object. That is nothing but, suppose 20 years back, we may not people may not have used a computer or any electronic device to type their thesis or dissertation or a book. So what they might have done is they might have used a typewriter or handwritten. Suppose if we digitize it using say a scanner and then convert that into a PDF file and then upload it, then it is called digital surrogate of a physical object. So that is the second type of content we have. And the third type of content is only metadata. We only have the digital metadata of a physical object. We don't host any full text. So that is the third type of content we have. So today we have closer to 251 content contributors. You name any major government funded or private publishers, they are all part of NDLI today. So this is as per DDC classification. What type of content is available? So DDC, as per DDC, computer science, information and general works, we have closer to 99 lakhs. Philosophy and psychology, we have 5.3 lakhs. Religion, 2 lakhs. Social sciences, 45 lakhs. Languages, language, 1 lakh. Natural sciences and mathematics, 83 lakhs. Technology, 1 crore. The arts, fine and decorative arts, 4.5 lakhs. Literature and rhetoric, 7.8 lakhs. History and geography, 6 lakhs. So this is the kind of resources we have. And let's now look at who are those top 20 content contributors. So World eBook Library is contributing around 77 lakh resources, followed by CiteSeerX 52 lakhs, PubMed Central 38 lakhs, IEEE 33 lakhs, WHO Global Index Medicus 26 lakhs, Directory of Open Access Journals 26 lakhs, Semantic Scholars 24 lakhs, US Government's Department of Energy Office 21 lakhs, Springer Link 21 lakh, Paperity 16 lakhs. So World eBook Library, Government of India has procured national licensing from them, so which I will talk about it in a short while. And then what kind of content we have? You name any form of reading and knowledge resources, be it a book, article, a video lecture, audio lecture, stamp papers, assignment, question bank, case studies, what else? Thesis, dissertation, manuscripts, painting, sculptures. So you name any form of reading and knowledge related materials, it's available at India. And like what is the research type we have? Article dominates the list by 2.95 crore. So we, as I mentioned, we have closer to 4.78 crore resources, out of which 2.9 crore resources are articles, followed by books, which is 63 lakhs, reports 12 lakhs, notes 11 lakhs, law acts 8 lakhs, law judgments 8 lakhs, technical reports 7 lakhs, thesis 6.4 lakhs, historical records 5 lakhs, video lectures 3.6 crore, 6 lakhs. As I mentioned, we have closer to 4.78 crore resources, out of which 3.6 crore resources are full text. So which can be seen from the filter called open and NDLI. So when there is open and NDLI symbol is there, it means you can download the full text, which means 75% of our resources are full text resources. And who is this for? The content is meant for everyone, starting from school going children to college going adults or youths, professionals, academicians, researchers, entrepreneurs, and lifelong learners. So the content like ranges from starting from school level to the lifelong learners level. And now let us see how to access NDLI. So it's very simple. Go to Google, and if you have a mobile device with you, you can also try it in your mobile device or in your desktop also. Go to Google and then type National Digital Library of India. And the first URL that you will get is ndl.iitkgp.ac.in. That is our URL. So what you need to do is just click on this URL. So once you click on this URL, you will go to our home page. So this is our home page. So from the day of lockdown, our team has further classified the resources into various educational levels also, schools, UG engineering. So this is how the home page looks like. Suppose if you want to search a word, what you need to do is, here is the search bar. So you just enter. So when you enter this keyword, so currently what I've done was history of English literature. That's the search word I have given. And I wanted only resources from the subject category of language and literature and rhetoric. So what I did was entered the search keyword and then clicked on the search, and then on my left we have filters. So there are about 9 or 10 filters which are existing, starting from access restriction, which I mentioned about. So open and NDLI resources. Suppose if you want only full text, you have to click on open and NDLI. And then the second filter is about author, and the third filter is about subject category. So here under the subject category, I have clicked language and literature. So given the search topic, on the topic of history of English literature, I received 6.7 lakh resources on history of English literature. And the second search I looked for, search keyword I searched was modern India. So I searched for this term called modern India, and then I searched under the subject category of history and geography, and then a success restriction. I wanted only the full text on modern India. So what I did was access restriction I went, and then I clicked on NDLI and open resources. So I got 20,000 results on modern India alone. And the third topic I searched is called Indian constitutional law. Okay, so here I wanted only full text. So what I did was went to access restriction, and then I clicked on open and NDLI. So I received 31 lakh resources on Indian constitutional law. So what you can further do is further apply filters which are relevant for your search, and then narrow down your research. And then I searched something called banking law. Okay, so here I applied two filters: subject category social sciences, and then access restriction full resources, open and NDLI resources. Then I received 14 lakh resources on banking laws. And then I searched something called 1984. So 1984 is one of those famous top 10 novels in the world, and we have the full text of 1984. So what I did was I applied three filters. One is subject category literature and rhetoric, and then access restriction full text, open and NDLI, and then source from World eBook Library. So I got 1984 from World eBook Library, written by George Orwell. And my next term is sociology, and I wanted only video lectures on sociology. So what I did was searched for this term sociology, and then clicked here, and then I went to content type video. I clicked on video, then I received only video lectures. Okay, and I got closer to 455 video lectures on sociology. And then I searched for a term called microeconomics. Microeconomics, I wanted only open, and then I wanted from the source of Asim Premji Foundation and MIT Open Courseware. So I got 51 results on microeconomics. And then I looked for a term called human physiology. Again, I wanted only video lectures. I clicked on content type video. I got 12,000 video lectures on human physiology. And then I searched something called engineering mechanics, and I wanted only from author of Sudarshan Iyengar. So I went to the author, looked for Sudarshan Iyengar. I got 862 results on engineering mechanics alone, and I got only videos. And then I searched for a term called artificial intelligence. This time I wanted it from source of MIT Open Courseware. So I applied this filter. I got 64 results. And then I searched for a term called effective parenting, but I wanted only audio files. So what I did was, there is a filter called file format. I went there and clicked on MP3 files. MP3 is nothing but audio files. So I got 6,584 audio files on effective parenting. And then I searched for a term called pedagogy, and this time I wanted content only from the author of Bertha Payne. So I got 8 results on this specific topic. And then I searched for a term called rural marketing, and then I applied access restriction of open and NDLI. I wanted only the full text. I got 6.3 lakh results on rural marketing alone. So in this time of lockdown, our team has, as I mentioned, has further classified the content into various educational levels. So school, so we have classified the content into school level, UG engineering, UG science, UG other disciplines, languages, management and law. So suppose if you click on these buttons, so how do you get it? Go to Corona outbreak and study from home, click there, and then this pop-up window appears. You can go from our team has classified the content as per the educational level. So you can accordingly click and narrow down your search results. So this is a so here I clicked on UG engineering. So these are the subject areas classified content available under UG engineering. There are some common subjects, and then aerospace engineering, architecture, chemical engineering, civil engineering, computer science and engineering, electrical engineering, electronics and communication engineering, mechanical engineering, mining engineering, ocean engineering, textile engineering. So these are the, similarly you can look for other subject domains also. So suppose if you want to download a resource, how do you do it? So here I searched for a term called human resource management, and then I wanted only PDF files. Okay, suppose if I want to open this human resource management first file, so what I need to do is just click on this. So once you click on this, this is how the page appears. So there are two tabs. One is the content tab, another one is the metadata tab. So as I mentioned, metadata is nothing but a data about data, that is basic information about this resource. So the title of the resource is called Human Resource Management. Author is Robert Scarry. Source is World eBook Library. Content type is text. Publisher is Small Business Administration. File format is PDF. Language is English. And I see this, and I found this access restriction as NDLI, which means full text access. You can download it once you are registered. Now, if I want to download this file, what I need to do is click on this content. So once you click on this content, you will get the entire full text from the resource. And similarly, if it's a video lecture, this is how the video will open. And these are some of the filters that you may want to remember. So the first filter that you may want to remember is access restriction, which suppose if you want only the full text, what you need to do is click on open and NDLI, you will get only the full text resources. Suppose if you want to search by author, what you need to do is click on the search author and then look for the author you want. And the third one is subject category filter. What you need to do is, this is classified as per Dewey Decimal classification, and you need to go to your appropriate subject domain to classify your content, filter down your content. And the next important filter is about learning resource type. So here you can filter your content by, say for example, if you want only book, what you need to do is go here and then type book, you will get the books only. Suppose if you want only thesis, go here and type thesis. Suppose if you want only audiobooks, just click here audiobooks. You want book review, click here. Booklet here. Case study, newspaper. So you can actually filter down the results based on the learning resource type. And the last important filter is about source. So from where you want the resources from. So suppose if you want the resource from ACM Digital Library, click here. Aligarh Muslim University, click here. So you can look for the source and accordingly you can narrow down the results. And the last important filter is on the right hand side, you will see content type filter. So here you can actually see the type of content: text, presentation, audio, video, image, application and animation. So accordingly you can click and then you will get the desired results. Apart from this, our NDLI interface is available in various Indian languages, starting from English, Hindi, Bangla, Gujarati, Kannada, Odia, Tamil and Marathi. And it is under development in other Indian languages also. And we also have NDLI mobile apps in both Google Play Store as well as in iStore. And I will show you how to use this is how the Android app looks like. So this first screen, this is how the Android app looks like. You can see subject domain, learning resource type, featured resources. So here, suppose if you want to search for a resource, how will you do? Click on this icon. So this is the search icon. Once you click on this icon, this search box will appear. Okay. So here you can type your search keyword, or you can speak also. So we have a voice recognition tool, and it will recognize your voice and then appropriately search for the term also, and then it will display the number of results that are available under the on the given topic. And then suppose if you want to filter down the results, what you need to do is, on the bottom right corner you will see an orange color icon and a white symbol here, which is a search symbol. Click here and then you will see all the filters on the top. Here you have to scroll down. So what you need to do is just scroll down the results, the filter, and then apply the relevant filter for your search. So here I have gone to the source filter, and then I chose only Aligarh Muslim University and then applied. I got the desired results. Okay, so before we move on to the next part of the presentation, I want to give you uh, before we move on to the next part of the session, I wanted to give you 5 minutes of time. Now it's 12:09. I will give you time till 12:15. I want you to go to Play Store or iStore, download NDLA app, and look for the content which is relevant for your own students and faculty members, or from your college or department. So you search for the topic, and then if you find it useful, so kindly put it in the chat message. First, once you download it, kindly put your message, and once you search, kindly put a message. So after 5 minutes, now it's 12:10, so we will resume the session by 12:15. Okay, you have 5 minutes, and I will be back in 5 minutes. Okay, so hope have you downloaded the app and search for the keyword that topic that might be of interest to you. Okay, so just raise your hands if you have done it. Very good. Good. Nice. How many of you see there is some value of NDLI for your own library and for your institution as such? Okay. Sure. And if you have how to join India, so we will have a separate question and answer session after the presentation is over. So you can put your question there. And whatever so far we have covered, what is NDLI and what are the type of content is available at NDLI and how to use it. So far we have come till that. So now let us see the rest of the presentation, and then at the end of the presentation we will take all the questions you have. So kindly keep it ready. So I'm going to start the presentation now. So before I start the presentation, so I have a small request to make. So for our reporting purpose, I would like to request you to take some screenshot of the presentation so that and send it to me. I will give you my email ID at the end of the session. So kindly send it to me. So kindly take few snapshot from your screenshot from the this webinar and then send it to my email ID, which I will give you at the end of the presentation. So now let me move on to the next part of the presentation. So now today Google is become part and parcel of our life. Google is everything for us. So now let us see what is the difference between Google and NDLI. So can you all see the presentation? Okay, sure. I'm moving ahead. So let's see with an example. So say for example, there is a girl called Payal. She's studying in 8th standard and in Hindi medium. And another guy called Shamik. He wants to pursue his PhD from a reputed institution. And both of their topic of interest is magnetism and in the topic of physics. So both of them went to Google and they searched for the term called magnetism. And they got 2.49 crore results. Both of them got the same results. And the results came from anything under the sun, anything that is available on the World Wide Web. And both of them came to NDLI and they searched for the same term called magnetism. And they got 4.19 lakh results. So what Payal did was she further filtered it down by educational level and language. She got 56 results. And then Shamik wanted only career and technical papers and he got 219 results. So this is the major difference between NDLI and Google. So what happens in Google is, suppose if you put a search term, can you hear me? There was some network problem. So what I was telling you about the major difference between Google and NDLI. So I was telling about Payal and Shamik. Both of them searched for a topic called magnetism, right? And they got, when they searched in Google, they got 2.49 crore results. And then when they came to NDLI, they searched for the same term. They got 4.19 lakh results. And then they further narrowed it by applying filters. Okay. So what is the major difference between Google and NDLI? See, Google is a brilliant tool and it's a giant, right? NDLI is no comparison to them, but there are some minor differences between Google and NDLI. Those are, in Google, what happens is, like, wherever this magnetism term is there, it will fetch everywhere from everywhere. It cannot distinguish between whether it's an authentic source or an unauthentic source, or a reliable source or an unreliable source, or a fake or a correct information. Okay, and it fetches from irrespective of the age, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the requirement, it fetches anything that is available on the World Wide Web. Whereas at NDLI, what happens is, we curate each and every content that is getting into NDLI. These content are primarily meant for educational purposes only, right? And they are all curated according to the age level as well. So you can actually classify and filter the content very easily at NDLI, and they are only for educational purpose. And we have also started procuring national license from various publishers. So Government of India has already procured national licenses from two such publishers. One is the World eBook Library. Another one is the South Asia Archives. So before NDLI procured national license, South Asia Archive was available in only three institutions in the country: JNU, Jadavpur University, another one is Allahabad University. Only three universities. And Allahabad University, they were the last one to get the license, and they got it for 75 lakh rupees per annum. 75 lakh rupees per annum. And the same is now available for everyone. Now the same South Asia Archive is available for every Indian citizen at free of cost. Similarly, World eBook Library, how many of you may have taken Delnet subscription? And now majority of the content is from World eBook Library. So that World eBook Library content is now available at NDLI at free of cost. So this is the some uniqueness about NDLI. So there are about 22,000 as of yesterday, 55 lakh registered users, 23 lakh, now it has become 25 lakhs, and 11 lakh mobile app downloads. Average hits in the recent lockdown times, it has crossed 2 lakh users every day. And what is the big picture? So the big picture is, maybe 5 years or 10 years down the line, anybody who is willing to learn, they can do it from their home. They can get a certificate, diploma or a degree certificate by sitting at from their home only. And now I'm coming to the topic of NDLI clubs. So some of you may know that we have stopped institutional registration in the last few years because it's being not properly used. So we have started another mechanism called NDLI club. So what is the purpose of NDLI club? The purpose of NDLI club is to promote the culture of reading and also take the knowledge resources of NDLI to every Indian citizen. So that's the idea behind NDLI club. And how do we do it? So for starting NDLI club, what you can do is, you can identify at least one student from every class and one faculty member from every department, and with a librarian as the ex officio secretary and principal as the ex officio chairman of the club. And this list has to be approved by the principal, and then you can upload it on the registration URL, which I will send you this presentation after this webinar is over. I will give you the registration URL to all of you. So kindly go to the registration page and then register there. Okay. So this is how the NDLI club registration form looks like. You have to fill your name of the institution, state of the institution, district of the institution, address, email of the nodal person, mobile number of the nodal person, principal's email name, total number in this institution, how many NDLA club members are going to be there, and then you have to attach the list of NDLA club members and the tentative date for starting of NDLA club in your institution, and then you submit. Once you submit, we do a back-end verification and we will issue a certificate of registration that is valid for 1 year. Okay, and within that 1 year, you need to do the following things. One is you need to register every student and faculty members of your institution within the first 1 month, within 30 days of getting the certificate. And for that, what you can do is you can first conduct an awareness session about NDLA to your NDLA club members, and then they in turn go back and conduct an awareness session for their own classmates. So whoever is interested, you collect their email ID, first name and last name in an Excel sheet. So this is how the Excel sheet should look like. Email ID, preferably the personal email ID, because your official email ID you will delete it after 3 years or 4 years, which will make them irrelevant after their graduation. So collect their personal email ID, first name and last name, collect these details, and then save the file as CSV file, or you can send it as Excel sheet also. So where do you have to send it? You have to send it to ndl-support@iitkgp.ac.in with a copy to myself, which is vignesh@ndl.gov.in/vigneshjnu@gmail.com. So you have to send it to this ID with a copy to me, so that we will follow up and we will do a bulk registration of all the students and faculty members. Okay, so in order to do bulk registration, you need to collect all the personal email ID, first name and last name of all the students and faculty members and put it in an Excel sheet and send it to our email ID, and then we will do a bulk registration of all of them. And they can also do an individual registration. Go to home page, and here you will see an register button, and then fill the registration form, and then once they submit, they will get a verification email. Activate the verification email and they are all set to go. This is a one-time registration process. So within 30 days of getting the registration certificate, NDLA club registration certificate, you need to complete the registration of all the students and faculty members from your institution, and also verify and activate their account. Once they are activated, then you need to handhold them, conduct an awareness session to them again how to use NDLI. Unless this step is not completed, your entire effort is not going to give you the desired results. You need to complete this process. And then what you need to do is, within the next 12 months, you need to conduct at least 10 reading or knowledge related activities. So what are those 10 reading or knowledge related activities that you can do? One is you can do a lecture series or a quiz competition or a storytelling session or a Go Fish kind of game, film screening, drawing competition, role play, write on, maker space, debate, and you can come up with any new ideas which will lead to a knowledge sharing platform. And you need to upload the activities from this URL after you conduct the activities. And these are some of the activities being conducted by the NDLA clubs. And we are looking at incentivizing the NDLA clubs by giving them a rolling trophy, by conducting reading Olympiad. So we conducted one district reading Olympiad in Tamil Nadu. The district is Coimbatore. We conducted the Coimbatore district reading Olympiad, NDLA reading Olympiad, few months back, and it was a huge success. 300 students came up from different part of the district and they participated. And the overall winner was given a rolling trophy, and it will become a regular annual affair at the district level, state level, and national level. And we are also looking at recognizing the best performing district, state NDLA clubs at the district, state, and national level also. And this is our contact details for anything related to NDLA club or NDLA registration, or any information that you want to conduct. If you want to conduct a webinar for your own students and faculty members, you can contact me. And my name is Dr. Vignesh, and my email ID is Vignesh Vignesh at ndl.gov.in, and my personal email ID is Vignesh Vignesh JNU at gmail.com. So this is my personal email ID, and my mobile number is 9999654458. So this is my contact details. And for bulk registration, you need to contact my colleague who is Rajendra Singh. Rajendra, RAJENDRA. I'm sorry, there was some network issue here, so there was some disconnection. So I will share the contact details again. So this is my colleague's detail, Rajendra Singh. You can contact him for any bulk registration related queries, and his email ID is Rajendra RAJENDRA.Singh SINGH1310 at gmail.com, and his mobile number is 8197564857. So you can contact him for any bulk registration related queries, and for any other queries you can get in touch with me. So this is the end of presentation. Now I will request you to ask some questions, and I'm definitely going to send the presentation to each one of you, provided you register yourself. So I'm going to give you the registration URL. I'll put it in the group. Just give me a minute. So I've given the registration URL only for people who have given registered. I'm going to share the PPT, so you can make use of this PPT for conducting the session. And if you want to conduct an awareness session for your own students and faculty members during this lockdown, so kindly contact me. So we are booked till 25th of April, so anything after 25 we can consider. Okay, and now you can raise your questions in the chat, and I will respond to each one of them. Thank you, everyone. Where do we need to register? Devyani Kulkarni. Suppose if you are an individual participant, if you want to do an individual registration, then what you need to do is go to the home page of NDLI, and on the right bottom corner you will see register icon. So click that register icon. You will have to fill a small form which includes your full name, first name, last name, email, password, confirm password, and some other basic details like your date of birth, age, gender, basic information, and you can fill and submit. Once you submit, you will get a verification email from our system, and then you need to verify that email your login is created. So you need to enter your email and password in the login page, and you are all set to go. Okay, so there are a lot of people asking for by giving their email ID and then asking me to share the email. That is not possible. There are more than 100 people here, and everybody is putting their email. I can't take out the chat from here. So kindly register on the URL which I have given. Then I will be able to take out the list of people who registered, and I will be able to send the follow-up email with the presentation. So kindly do that. Any other question? How to do bulk registration? Okay, as I Mr. Dr. I. Rajan Babu has asked this question. So for bulk registration, what you need to do is you have to become a part of NDLI club. So as I mentioned, for starting the NDLI club, identify at least one student from each class and one faculty member from each department, and librarian as the ex officio secretary and principal as the ex officio chairman. You form this club upload the NDLA club registration form, submit it, and then we will verify and issue a certificate of registration. So this process is it takes anywhere between 30 to 45 days. Once you get the certificate of registration, what you can do is collect 3 details from all the students and faculty members of your institution: email ID, personal email ID, first name and last name. Collect it, put it in an Excel sheet, and then you send it to us. That email ID which I've given, ndl-support@iitkgp.ac.in, you need to send that entire Excel sheet to this email ID with a copy to my email IDs. Once you send it, we will do a bulk registration, and there is no cost involved. It's completely free of cost. Many people are asking for any cost is involved for bulk registration or using NDLI. Not even a single penny you have to pay from your packet or from your institution. It's completely free of cost. What kind of copyright involved for these resource? As I mentioned, so Dr. A. Nanasegar, as I mentioned in my presentation, NDLI is primarily providing or collaborating with institutions which are non-copyrighted, open resources. And wherever copyright is involved, government has already procured national license from World eBook Library and South Asia Archives. So government is not promoting any copyright violation. So we give them only open, non-copyrighted resources, and wherever possible, we procure national license and give it to people, right? Any other strategy to motivate students to use NDLA resources? As well as engineering college, even after registering on it, they are not using the NDL resources, even through ACT has mandated to. Very good question, Miss Supriya Bejalwar. The question is very relevant. So I can give you my personal example. So we, one of the institutions that has been doing very well is PSGR Krishnamal College in Coimbatore. So what they do is, every month they give an assignment for students. The topic has been chosen by the faculty from NDLI, and they make it mandatory for them to use it from NDLI. So every month the students ultimately use NDLI for their own academic work. So your first task is to first sensitize the faculty members about NDLI. What is NDLI? What are the kind of resources available? And then ask them to make use of NDLI resources in their academic work. Then only it will have relevance. Otherwise, NDLI alone will not make a lot of sense. It has to be integrated into the academic work. Then only it will have relevance. Okay. Can we check the report of users of our users TSR? Rameshwar Dayal. We can give you the statistics as of now, only how many people registered and how many people have activated. Our team is already working on how to give you the usage statistics also. How to deactivate passed out students. So what you need to do is kindly download the unregistered students and unverified students and send it to the email ID which you have given. Our team will get back to you. Can members outside India register and use NDLI, provided they are Indian citizens? Right? The members from outside India can use, provided they are Indian citizens, they can use. We have agriculture content as well. Any representative person in Tamil Nadu? Yes, I am basically operating from Tamil Nadu, so you can get in touch with me, Dr. Rajan Babu. Okay, in SNSC also they make it mandatory for library hours. Shiny Martin has responded. Isn't students' data is safe with bulk registration? They are very much safe, Mr. Srikant Putra. All the data are encrypted and they are not shared with anyone. Even we don't have access to it except the librarian. Sandeep Meshram, sir, in NDL there is social science resources is not more, basically art faculty. So when we started, we had only a very few lakh social science resources. Today we have 45 lakh social science resources, and our team has been like augmenting and collating social sciences, languages, and medical content also. So our team is already working on it. Is it possible to trace individual record of participants in NDLA Readers Club? That is at this point in time, because we are encouraging you to do it offline, so it's not possible to trace. Is there any metrics? Sorry, is there any metrics to how many students can enroll from one institute? No, you can register as long as all the students are your own students, you can enroll them. Why do we need to remove passed out students? You don't have to remove. We are not encouraging you to remove any passed out students, but we are only requesting you to register their personal email ID, because many of the institution, they create official email ID. They create in the college name. Say for example, the college name is xyz, and they create vignesh at xyz.ac.in. What happens after 3 or 4 years is, when I pass out, they remove that email ID. Then what happens is, like, they don't have access to the email and they can't use NDLA any further. So that's why we are encouraging you to use personal email ID, and they can, this is a lifelong resource. Engineering college faculty are more interested in IEEE Scopus index material or papers. Is there an equivalent specific indexing in NDL? So we have IEEE's metadata only at this point in time. And similarly for Springer, Miss Supriya, we currently have IEEE metadata only. We don't have full text. But Government of India is considering to procure national licensing from these institutions, but it's the Ministry of Human Resource Development which will take the call. We don't have much answer to it right now. Can you provide individual access like engineering, arts? Yes, yes. There was this question from library RMKEC. What you have to do is, you have to go to home page. On the top you will see corona outbreak lockdown period something. Click there, then you will be able to see school, UG engineering, UG science, other UG. So you will be able to classify the content according to the educational level. Oh, there was a very good question. Noor Jahan Sheikh, can we upload our own content on NDLA? Yes, it's very much possible, provided your institution becomes a content collaborator of NDLA. So you become a content contributor, we enter into an MOU with your institution, and then you can participate and you can share your content in the metadata format which we give you, and we use DSpace. And you can send me an email. Suppose if any of your institution wants to contribute content, you can send me an email with your request, and then we will get back to you. It's available GATE, EC, ESC, CAT. Like, yes, we have JEE GATE examination materials. You can use Dr. Tamilarasi. Ushma Khan, how to encourage school students to use NDLA? As I mentioned, we have classified contents specifically for students. From the home page, you can search for. On the top, you will see Corona icon. Click there, then the pop-up window will appear. There you can click on the school button. You will be able to see the contents which are relevant for school students. So you go through it. First, conduct an awareness session for your teachers and faculty members. That is where the starting point is, and you need to work very closely with the faculty members. Then only the success of the library will start to begin. Where to register? So I've already given the registration URL, Mr. Srikanth. I'm going to give you again. We are ready. Institutional registration. Again, we are registered NDLA Club. Okay. Yeah. So already registered. NDLA Club is different. NDL bulk registration is different. Can we remove registered but still not activated students data? Yes, you have to send a separate email to my colleague. Can we remove registered but still not? Yes, I told you, you can Nishikanta Rakesh, you can remove. You have to send an email to my colleague Rajendra Singh by NDL-support with the list of people whom you want to remove. Okay, now it's 12:45. I think we have most of the questions have come. As I mentioned, kindly register yourself. I'm going to put the registration URL again. People who have not yet registered, kindly register on this URL. Okay, and then I will send you the presentation. You can You have to kindly register with the basic details of yours, and then we will send you the presentation with another further follow-up material. If you want to follow for content contribution, if you want to share content with NDLI, kindly write to me separately. Similarly, if you want to conduct an awareness session for your own college faculty and students, kindly write to me separately, right? So if you permit me, I take you leave from you. Thank you so much for kind participation, and I'm very happy to see all of you throughout the session. Once again, I thank you all for your kind patience and listening. Thank you.